Brandon?
This is Jaime. I'm on the phone.
Jaime is on the phone.
Where's Brandon? It says Frank.
Renee's late speaking French.
Brendan's going to be on the phone too.
Brandon.
Brendan's going to be on the phone, and then he's going to walk.
Brandon, are you on the line? Jaime, you're on the line? Jaime,
I'm on the line.
anybody else on the line? Got it.
Yeah, I'll get someone else.
Cute baby.
Okay, he's not a member.
Agendas we might be out of.
Here, I got one.
There's one.
No, okay, go ahead.
Qu'est-ce qu'on fait passer?
All right, you here have a quorum.
All right, we have a quorum. Are we on? Mr. IT? All right, well, I've been advised to say hello to our audience out there, so hello everyone, welcome to our board session. We are now in session for the open portion of the board session. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the prior meetings, plural, because we've had a few meetings.
These were all transmitted to you or distributed by email 2 days ago. So if you have any comments, questions, happy to.
So do I hear any comments?
Just one comment, on the minutes on March 14,
Yes, sir.
you have asked the personnel associations to make some recommendations.
Well, he just reported that he did, not that, yeah.
Hello?
Can you mute?
Is it no Brendan? Is it Brendan joining?
No, Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Brendan.
Mute your microphone, Brandon.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Did you put some additional parameters such as that you didn't want to have any member of the association?
I asked Valerie to recommend some teachers to act as potential advisors, to form a group, in addition to the ones that Monsieur Poulin had already recommended. Yes.
Yeah, I understand, but I understand that you put some additional parameters such as you didn't want to have teachers part of the teachers associations.
No. I asked her to recommend, because there's plenty of teachers that are in the association. I asked her to recommend teachers that might be seen as more, like not the vice president of the association or people that are not in the controlling position, but more independent or more, and who have history and experience and have been with us a long time. Okay.
Did you want to propose a change? I'm sorry.
No, this is not what I understood, but since I cannot really double check this information, so I will pass.
Okay, thank you. And keep in mind, then this is just what happened at the meeting, not what he might have said on the telephone. Okay? Do we want to have a motion to?
So,
Sure.
do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve the 3 sets of meetings minutes.
Second.
Okay.
Any objections?
Any objections?
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
I'm assuming we're doing a roll call, right?
I thought when unanimous, we're not doing the roll. It's up to you.
No,
Yes.
Oh, of course, yes.
So the next topic are board administrative matters. Well, I guess the first item is, since I sit on all the finance committee sessions, I've been asked to join the committee officially, so someone wants to appoint me?
There's a resolution to that effect on page 2. I can read it.
Please do.
Resolved that pursuant to Article 10, Section 11 of the bylaws, the Board of Trustees hereby appoints Eric Moreau as a member of the Finance Committee.
I'll move that.
Once again.
Anyone objects?
We're done.
The second item is the desire to create a communications task force. We've discussed this, and we think that communications need to be improved, and a task force would be very helpful. So, you want to read the...
I do. Resolved that pursuant to Article 10, Section 8 of the bylaws, the board hereby creates a task force on communications to advise and assist the community committee and the board, should be a "the" there, sorry, and the board, on the development of enhanced communication means and methods, including the committee to advance website design and functionality,
Brenda,
resolve further.
I'm here. Hello.
Yes, can you mute your phone?
Artuk.
Mute.
Okay, and I made another mistake. Resolve further that the board appoints Emmett Berg as chair of the task force on communication, together with such members of the task force as he or the president of the corporation may designate. I move the motion.
Second.
Second.
Objections?
Anyone objects? Okay.
May I make just a comment real quickly? I think the first step of what we're trying to accomplish with this task force is to find out exactly which communication topics are worth tackling. And so I'm going to create a doodle poll or some other function for all our board members to indicate what they think is the area that we could do the most good with the communications task force. And by the next time we meet, I'll have a good idea of where people want to go and what kind of members we need to have in our task force. So thanks very much for entrusting me with this very important matter. Thank you.
So can I offer a comment?
Yes, please.
I would be interested in finding out how we can measure the impact of our communication. So how many of our members truly read the emails they receive? How do we measure the audience on our website and understand from what we have today through measurement techniques what we could improve?
And that's part of the point, yeah. To have like basically that all the tools that we want to develop are basically can track basically the impact and maybe A/B test sometimes.
Okay. So I think we should include that as part of the charter for sure. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Do we have the technology?
We can rebuild it.
Yeah. All right. Item 3, the creation of the Innovation and Technology Task Force.
Resolved that pursuant Article 10, Section 8 of the bylaws, the board hereby creates an innovation and technology task force to interface with, advise, and assist the school administration and faculty on the adoption and use of leading-edge technologies in the classroom. And resolve further that the board appoints Jean-Francois Moulet as chair of the Innovation and Technology Task Force, together with such members of the task force as he or the president of the corporation may designate.
Motion?
I move the motion.
I second.
Any objections? All right. You want to tell us?
Keep going.
I guess not.
All right. Well, Brendan, are you able to talk, or you want us to push the next item, which is a discussion of the annual fundraising results?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So I'll tell you what, I am on my way to Ortega if you'd like. I can forward you the email that I have from Natalie. Maybe one of you can run down the numbers just because I
We'll
it's
wait.
gonna be kind of hard to do in the car.
Drive safe.
We'll come back to you.
Just
Drive
Okay.
safely.
just drive safely.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Member forum review and planning, Bertrand.
I have your sheet.
You got it, yeah, I was wondering.
I'm sorry.
Can you, yeah.
I didn't pass that one out. I'm sorry. Did you pass these around? Thank you.
But I can still start. So first thing, I think we got a very good attendance in person compared to the previous one. I think I considered something like 30 people. We had a glitch with the streaming. The link was not provided, so people could not attend remotely. While we had, 30 people last time remote, so that would have been a good number, maybe.
That's interesting.
I watched it.
Yeah, but only the
We send
members
it
got
out
it
to-
in the internal, yeah.
We
Wait.
send it to the board members, but we couldn't send to the entire community.
It was a miss. So that is part of the suggestion and part of the document you'll be reading. The other thing also what we've done is inviting prospective families and got really good feedback from these families. Feedback that I got might be was a little bit too long, so 1 hour would be the maximum we should do on this. I'll be working on creating a checklist so we don't have any issues like we just had, as well as working maybe a little bit more with the marketing team so it's a little bit more organized by them and not only us. What else? Other suggestion is to use the room parents to amplify the communication to get more people to join. So this, I don't know if we need to have a motion or on this. We can just, yeah, okay.
Did we want to plan another, the next one?
Sorry?
Did we want to set a date for the next one or not? I'm sorry.
Okay, so any feedback for you guys? I've got a list of feedback and I will work on that. So based on the what to do next or the feedback, would you have other suggestions to make it better? Yeah.
I think we should make sure we always notify the council and their staff, because I don't know if you were included in that. No, and I'm sure they would like to visit us at the same time.
Okay. Also, something that is part of my list is I don't know for these events if the staff and the teachers are invited. I've got no idea where the communication is going. So I don't know if you've been
Well-
invited to the member forum.
I've been able to see one of them.
Yeah.
Is,
I remember
is it
Elizabeth
because
as
you're
a
a
child.
parent?
Of the open ones.
You're a
So
parent.
the first, yeah, I'm a parent.
William?
Yeah, so that's true.
Are you getting invitations?
For the member,
He's a
but
He's a
full-time-
board member.
Oh, both of you?
Yeah.
That's right.
How about,
Yeah, but they're getting them anyway.
maybe you get the, oh.
Yeah, you were invited.
But Eric,
The town hall.
No, you didn't get on. Okay, so then we have to also to change that.
Make sure staff gets it, yeah.
I have received emails.
You have,
You have
Yeah.
received
On
email,
the
Regarding
town
the
hall in Sausalito.
Yes,
Couple weeks.
yes.
oh, okay.
and you are not parent.
I'm not a parent.
Okay. Yeah, and then there's additional suggestions, so no other suggestion, okay. So the next thing is, when should be the next date in Ashbury? Do we want to do that in May time frame?
Sounds good.
So,
Any dates?
any date? Yeah, just to make sure it's not a conseil de classe, because there are weeks with conseil de classe and will be more toward June.
Can I suggest that we do the kind of calendaring offline, because
Okay.
there's a few other calendaring items I'm thinking about. The all board staff gathering, and it needs to be calendared. I'm thinking about maybe the next board meeting, we can talk about calendaring now, but we could do
Okay.
there's
Well, it
calendaring
can be offline. Okay.
offline, yeah.
And then also, we don't have to review all the subjects, but I had some suggestion about the next subjects we could have, and maybe invite some teachers that are also very active in activities. Like now we've got a cine club that is forming. There is the LSFS theater. There is Fundraising that could talk about the technology. So there are many subjects, and next time at Ashbury we can talk about the garderie or Madame Pacific. But so if you have any subjects you would like to submit, it would be a good thing so we can have an agenda for May. Great, that's it.
All right. Sorry. The next topic is the English department presentation.
So maybe I can do a quick introduction as well
Sure.
about this. So the reason we have the English teacher to come is to discuss the English coordinator role that we announced during the first member forum or town hall. So the goal is it's educational for all of us as trustees to know what is the impact of that role to the school, and especially also as well to respond, because we got parents to ask us questions. So I think it's important to mention what it is about. Also, that is a role that has a relation with the CAIS and the WESC, to my knowledge. So that is also part of the governance and support for the governance committee. And ultimately to understand the next steps to move forward in that position.
Okay.
Liz, Craig. And by the way, if we have the last slide is about the next step, but we'll review the next steps during the closed session.
Do you need us to turn the lights off?
Sure.
Robbie, on the live stream, there is no, we don't see the slides. It's only purely the board.
There's a delay.
Yeah.
Give it a second.
But it's a full screen. No, it's full screen about the board members, but it's not splitted.
I think it's just delayed.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
There it is. There it goes.
Okay, good.
So we know that you are very busy, so in timing this, we wanted to make it as quick as possible. So we're going to be reading our notes to you, not performing them, so sorry. I wanted to start by saying hello and good evening, and to thank Bertrand and all of the members of the board for inviting me to talk to you today. I'm here with Craig Gaffney to present the English department's successes, challenges, and plans for moving forward with the departmental leadership position budgeted for next year. We would like to thank you for inviting us here today, as we see it as an interest in opening up a clear dialogue between the staff, the administration, and the board.
To begin, we feel it is very important to clarify for everyone the definition of our English program. Although we are located in America and our curriculum is currently accredited by California and the Western Association of Independent Schools, we are not an English school nor a bilingual school. We are considered an English program within the structure of a French school, meaning that our objectives are geared towards bilingualism, and our structure places students in English-speaking classrooms for only 20% of their time throughout their school career.
So this slide just gives you a quick visual of the time distribution for an upper elementary student. The two pieces that are pulled from the pie represent English language instruction and US math. The rest of their day is spent immersed in the French language. We are very fortunate to have an excellent English teaching staff that has a keen understanding of the delicate and nuanced mix of needs, concerns, and strengths offered by our international and multicultural community. We consist of 22 teachers across 3 campuses, half of which hold advanced degrees. We have over 260 cumulative years of teaching experience and an average of 10 years of lycée institutional memory. The institutional memory and consistency provided by our long-term English staff is a major benefit to our community, that experiences higher than average turnover in direction and French staffing due to visa and AOFE requirements. So just a quick explanation here. The diamonds are our students, triangles are suburban students, and the yellow squares are private schools. And so with only a little over an hour a day in English, our young primary students obviously acquire English skills at a slower pace than students in all English schools. However, with the efficient and diversified approach to the English curriculum, along with the coordination with our highly skilled French counterparts, this leads us to consistent progress. Our standardized testing scores have historically shown that by the end of primary school, LFSF students are closing the gap that exists between them and their peers in all English suburban and independent schools. So as you can see, we're slightly behind, a little bit behind here, and then we're coming up and catching up with the yellow square. Over the years, our teachers have developed and refined many strategies and practices that make this progress possible. Many layer their teaching by addressing and reinforcing multiple skills in single projects, activities, or curricular pieces. Others inspire meaningful learning opportunities for students by launching innovative projects that develop real-life uses for their skills. We also strive to provide as much differentiated instruction as possible, ensuring that all students are provided with goals appropriate to their individual levels and abilities. Through specialized U.S. math classes and reading comprehension and fluency support, we are able to provide timely interventions for critical skills that cannot necessarily be acquired in the French classes. Our English language learning program provides individualized instruction plans for new students, allowing them to transition into regular classes within 2 years.
The benefits of acquiring multiple languages becomes apparent by the end of high school, when our student SAT mean outperforms that of other public and independent schools. This is also due to the rigorous reading and writing program put forth by our secondary English team. Over the years, secondary English teachers have developed several projects to support and encourage excellence in writing, like the 9th grade writing boot camp, the publication of creative writing anthologies, participating in writing contests, and 12th grade support for college essays. They strive to develop cultural and transferable knowledge through reading projects like modernist literary study, Shakespeare readings, and visits to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and the initiation of the OIB at LFSF.
Teachers administering an English curriculum in a French school face many unique challenges. We have no set nationalized curriculum to pull from and have to coordinate our teaching with multiple French colleagues at the same grade. We also strive to ensure consistency with the English classes on partner campuses, as well as to provide continuity with the grades above and below our own. Add to this the complexity, the multiple classes, and sometimes levels taught by each teacher. Within our combined student groups of approximately 60 children, and this includes regular classes plus our ELL sections that we teach, we are constantly working to address each student's individual language level, learning needs, and family's personal expectations for the English program. As new teachers enter into our program, we try hard to support them by sharing best practices, providing guidance and explanations. Over the past 2 years, without a department head, we have worked hard as a team to maintain our curriculum's integrity and mentor new arrivals. However, this is becoming increasingly difficult without a leader. We are constantly aware of the untapped potential of our highly professional staff that often finds itself reinventing the wheel due to a lack of cohesion and opportunities to share skills and knowledge.
It is for that reason that we were extremely happy to hear that the board had approved the creation of a full-time English leadership position, and we are enthusiastic to share our vision with you. This list of priorities for the position is based on our experiences as a department over more than a decade, and a clear understanding of the specific needs of our school. We've also taken into consideration the needs of our students, families, and the communities. Of foremost importance is the need to provide structures and support for increased collaboration and alignment. We would like the department head to focus on ensuring parity between both primary campuses and their programs. Of equal importance is the need for this person to work with French pedagogical directors in order to further the alignment between the French and English programs. Additionally, this person would help guide the English staff in evaluating, testing, and implementing different pieces of curriculum in order to streamline the process by which the curriculum is updated and rolled out. As new members of the staff arrive, this person would serve an important role in onboarding. He or she would help new English teachers smoothly adapt to our unique school culture, and also assist new incoming French directors to more easily navigate the American community, CASE and WASC accreditation, and standardized testing, English staff recruiting, English professional development, and textbook company negotiations. Ultimately, this person would serve as a much-needed point person who could centralize the department, responding to inquiries from parents, administration, and staff. In order to move forward, we hope to see steps taken immediately to ensure that our program can advance smoothly through the remainder of this school year, and that the new position be filled and ready for the staff back to school in August. To do so, we will need to agree on a job description by spring break and start the hiring process by May 1st. We hope you can see how proud we are of what the English department has been able to accomplish thus far within our given limitations. Now just imagine with us what we will be able to achieve with leadership to support and maximize our potential.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we'll
Quick
have.
question.
Yeah.
That was very helpful. And so one question I have is, would this individual who would be in this role, do you envision them teaching any courses? Or are they strictly in an administrative function?
At this point, what we're foreseeing is there's so much that needs to be done to catch up that being tied to a teaching schedule would hinder it too much to make the progress that we want at the speed that we want.
Okay.
So it would be out of
Okay.
the classroom.
It'd be more of an administrative.
Okay,
Makes sense.
thank you.
Makes sense.
We'll discuss
Yeah.
during the.
No, I
process.
just wanted to complete the vision
Yeah.
and make sure I had clarity. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much.
By the way, the fact that we're not asking questions is because we're going to be discussing this in closed session. And we really appreciate your time. We really, really do. And, thank you.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is our Parent Association Progress Report.
Okay.
And
Some of these.
is,
Okay, so
are you presenting it?
I am introducing, just like Bertrand did
And-
the introductions.
Great.
All right.
Leaving it to
So,
the experts.
yes.
What's the first page?
That's the first page with all the little circles. So first of all, we have a great team in place that started a long time ago. And they've had ups and downs, and the bottom line is, we're at a high right now. And so that's why we wanted to come to everybody to share where we're at and where we're going. And so the team, you have standing to present Delphine Renau and Kathy Profet, and then hiding in the back to answer any questions as well is Frederic Caru. Missing is Krista Molian and Noelette Falcao, because we have to divide and conquer. So we have a lot that's coming up over the next 2 weeks and trying to get everybody in the same place. But what we want to share is the vision of the association, which will have a different name, as well as the structure of it, and what some of the things are that, how the structure is going to influence some of the things that we do here at the board level that we don't envision we would need to do in the long run. We would work in partnership. So I'm going to let Delphine take it away, and Kathy, so that I don't start telling you what's on all of the slides in the Prezi. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Eileen, and to the rest of you guys for inviting us. We wanted to start with the big picture of a parents association, and as you guys all know, parent associations are often the backbone of school communities. I've had so many conversations with members of our community, parents, teachers, board members, who tell me that, you know, when we're talking about a certain issue, well, the PA is going to solve that. Okay, but when the PA comes, we're going to solve that. So I think that what we've come to the conclusion that the PA is about, creating a PA is about healing the community. And so I first want to go to what the goals of our PA would be. First of all, we'd like it to be called Les Amis du Lycée, okay, Friends of the Lycée, because parent association really is pretty limiting, and Les Amis du Lycée, I think, is more inclusive. The idea here is to promote a strong sense of community at LFSF through volunteer and fundraising efforts in line with the mission of the school, to facilitate the parent's voice in the community through communication and representation, to coordinate all parent activities at the school, and to embrace and celebrate the culture of our school. To do that, we need to look at parent participation as a whole. A PA needs to have the opportunity to build a community and to build towards positive actions. In order to do that at our school, we need to shield it from the politics of the school. For that, we need to provide a channel for parents to be heard and to be represented. And what you'll see here is that we've cut, this is the PA. But this is also very important, the committee of parent delegates, because it's important to protect the PA moving forward and being constructive in building, while at the same time providing a channel for parents to be heard. The connection between the two of these is here at what we call the monthly meeting. And we'll have to figure out how that works with the members forum, because the ideas are very similar. At the monthly community meeting, everybody is invited, okay? And if we can go back to the membership. All of the members of the PA, or the Les Amis, would be invited. The membership would be broken up as the voting members. These are dues-paying parents or guardians of currently enrolled students, okay? Dues would be paid annually at enrollment or re-enrollment, and they would be $25 per student. Community membership would be another avenue, and the idea here is that any member of the community is welcome to join the association as a volunteer and to participate in the meetings, and this includes the administration, the teachers, the staff, but it also could include grandparents. It could include anybody with a vested interest in our school. The idea being that we need to pull from lots of different communities in order to tap the potential that is the parents. Back to the monthly meeting. So the monthly meeting, the goal of the monthly meeting is for communication to happen up and down, right? The school to communicate to the parents in the community to communicate back to the school. But also, what's been lacking here is an ongoing conversation, so that from month to month, you know, you revisit the issues that you were working on last month and you talk about how they've been resolved. And that has been sorely lacking at our school from the parents' perspective. So it would be attended, and invited would be all the parents and all the community members. But it would also be attended by the representatives of the Conseil d'Établissement, the school council, by a teacher liaison, a board liaison, and an administration liaison, who would be there to, and there would be a set agenda that would be the same every month, who would be there to give reports on what's happening in their realm, and then the last agenda item would be a Q&A from the parents. And this is every month. It's the same thing. That doesn't mean that every month the board is going to have an update, or the teachers are gonna have an update, but every month there's an opportunity for the conversations to happen that are hot button issues, okay? This would be chaired and run by who we call the communication chair. So what we've decided is that we don't want one boss of the PA. We want different people having different roles. The communications chair has the role of preparing and monitoring the meetings, creating the agenda. And what that means is it's their job to make sure that they're pulling the people who need to be a part of the conversation that's happening with the parents. Whatever those conversations are that month, they need to make sure those people are there and those people are ready. They would also, in some ways, serve as the official representative of the PA. They would sit on the, they would be a monthly non-voting attendee of the board meetings. And they would have for a role of maintaining communication with the head of school, the faculty, and the board. Hopefully, eventually, they would be assisted by other people in getting out newsletters and utilizing other means in this monthly meeting to access the parents and to make sure that the parents are being heard. They retain all the official records of the PA and co-sign the authorized expenses with the treasurer. And so we're first going to talk about the activities support side, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the representation side, because we thought, even though it was really your job and the head of school's job to figure out how that's all going to play out, we have something to say about how parents sit on those bodies, and we've also been thinking a lot about it, so we wanted to.
So I'm going to take over for the, to explain a little bit about the Activities and Support Executive Committee. There are 9 members sitting on this committee, one of which is the communications chair, which Jennifer just spoke about. Each campus would have 2 leads, and those 2 leads, we see this as a 2-person job because there's really 2 goals or 2 roles that need to be filled. One is volunteer coordination, and the other is an organizing role. So for the volunteer coordination, and also all of these leads, we really see them as they're really there to maintain positive relationships and attitudes within the school, and of course sort of be the diplomatic face of the school, of the association. And they would, the organizing role, we really see that as ensuring leadership, volunteerism, and development of campus-specific committees, and also school-wide initiatives. They'll develop, plan, and track the progress of the PA activities on respective campuses. They'll support the teachers, administration, and board by executing goals set out by for and by the PA. And they'll also serve as a liaison between the PA and their campus director to develop and support campus-specific activities. And then the volunteer role is that, well, when they're developing all of these, you have to have people to make it happen. So the volunteer part of it is that, you know, the volunteer coordination is informing, promoting, and conveying enthusiasm for the PA and getting volunteers involved. At cultivating relationships and understanding the community to get volunteers, to recruit volunteers needed to staff the committees. And then also tracking members' activities within the committees so that we know who's volunteering, where do we need to tap, and how do we go forward with continuing to build the PA. So what we took is, within this, we have basically what is currently exists at the school and all the volunteering that happens. This is what you see here. And this is meant to sort of show what is already being done in some way or another, and sort of being helped by parents and volunteers. And it leaves room for growth. This can be as big or as small as we need it to be as the PA develops. The parent body, we feel at this point in time, is really underdeveloped. Even with all of this happening, that we can really, it's underutilized, and we can really start to utilize it more. So we want to make the PA to be this easy and clear path to participate. We feel like there's kind of what we see happening is we have those family members who really are really involved a lot, and those that aren't involved at all, and we want to sort of fill the gap, right? We want to make sure that everybody is participating in the school in one way or another. And we really sort of broke it down into these kind of categories per se, but there can be more added. This is just how we saw it evolving as we started to talk about what is it that parents already do. So the School Life Committee, this is really enriching daily life of our students, and these are things like hot lunch, Safety Awareness Week at the Ashbury campus, hot lunches at Sausalito, prom at the Ortega. So these are really things that enhance children's school life. And again, these are just some examples of what that would look like in those committees. The Hospitality Committee, which is really an informational, guiding, and welcoming committee where we would welcome new families and staff, work on the handbooks, that's an informational tool for families, teacher appreciation, bringing any educational speakers in that would help our community come together. And then one of the things that we talked at length about is that the role of the room parents at Ashbury and Sausalito is really that right now they're serving two functions, a representative function, and a sort of a liaison to the classroom, helping out in the classroom function. So what we would like to do is we'd like to separate out those two and really make the classroom parents, room parents, really be all about supporting supporting what's happening in the classroom, field trips, teacher, gatherings for the class, anything that the teacher needs, that this is where the room parents really shine, and that really should be. And in traditional schools, that is really what the role is of a room parent. And so we take the representational side, and Delphine's going to talk about that in a minute, and we have something that is there, but it's indifferent, so that we aren't mixing the two roles together. The Pedagogical Committee, this is really all about supporting the academic programs. So academic programs that we need parents to help with, Vivre Ensemble, Semaine du Goût, anything about diversity, technology. We have some initiatives going forward. The Pedagogical Committee would house all of these different programs. And in the Community Committee, really this is how are we coming together as a community as a whole, and also how are we supporting the community through fundraising efforts. So we see this as all part of the Community Committee. And lastly, there would be a nominating committee that would help make sure that we are recruiting potential candidates for open PA positions, so that we continually are replenishing those people in the position, so that the PA continues from year to year to grow and build. All right.
Okay. So again, it's the role of the head of school and of the board to figure out how all of the, and I think you can go to the next slide, how all of these different bodies are going to work. But insofar as we are building the parents to be participating in the school, we need to make sure that we talk about this a little bit, and that we kind of give you some of our ideas about how it might look. So far, and I sat in the Conseil d'Établissement for a while, so I feel like, and I think a lot of parents feel like, parent participation in school councils has been frustrating and ineffective. And we believe that the reason for that is because parents are not truly representative of the community, and therefore they're not taken seriously by parents, and they're not taken seriously by the administration. And it really is how it should be when they're not representing anybody. And that's part of why we've decided to separate the room parent from the representatives of the parent. Those are two different functions. What we need, what we don't have at this school yet is a proper channel for parents' concerns. So now people are disgruntled, we're not united, it takes up too much time with the administrations, when teachers, when parents are upset about something. What we'd like to do is take the monthly meeting and make the representative basically attend those meetings and get their representative functions from those meetings. There are all the parents who want to be involved, who have something to say. That's where the representation is going to come from. And it has the added bonus of making these representatives accountable to the community. What we'd like to see happen, and all of this already exists except for here on Ortega, okay? So we have a Conseil d'école on both campuses, on both primary campuses, and we have a Conseil d'établissement. The idea here is to select one person per grade level, per campus. And those people on each campus will attend their school council, their campus council. So there would be, instead of calling it the Conseil d'école and confusing everyone, we would call it the Conseil de Sausalito, the Conseil d'Ashbury, and the Conseil d'Ortega. Okay, and those would have however many delegates, there would be 7 or 8, depending on the school, would handle campus-specific issues that parents might be, interested in. They would bring them to that council. These councils would meet before the Conseil d'Établissement, and 2 people from each campus, which is what already happens, but 2 people would be elected from these delegates for each campus to sit on the Conseil d'Établissement. So what we're talking about is a pyramid system, where we're feeding issues to the Conseil d'Établissement that are relevant to the community, and then we're expecting the Conseil d'Établissement representatives to bring it back to the community in a way that they're accountable to people. And again, the goal of this is to make sure that it has a proper place, that it's not invading other things, and that it's not taking up too much of the administration's time. That's it.
Question on that, how is this different from what currently exists? Can you explain this?
So currently, the room parents kind of fulfill this function, but not well. Because essentially what the room parents do is they talk to the people that they're comfortable with, which is perfectly normal. There's no real strategy for them to be representative of their year or representative of their class. And how representative they are varies greatly. Like some room parents send out emails and then they get a lot of feedback and they're not sure how to handle it because there's no real place for them to go. So the room parent meetings, which are managed differently on each campus. So the idea here is to have one person per grade level. That's it. And they are the official person per grade level. They go to the monthly meetings. They don't go to the room parent meetings. They go to the monthly meetings. And it is their job to talk to all of the parents in their class to bring here the issues that are of concern to the parents, but also when the directors bring issues to them to really meaningfully understand what their grade level and their community feels about certain issues so that they can be effective there at helping the administration handle, the parents.
And right now, the Conseil de Code is once a year, and it's actually broken up into cycles because there's so many room parents at Ashton. Sorry, there's so many room parents. Same in Sausalito. There's so many room parents, you can't get them all.
in the same week.
Right.
Thank you.
You can't get them all in the same room at the same time. There's not a room big enough to house to talk about what's happening. So you meet once a year to talk about the cycle, and it should be 3 times a year. And so it's always a debate about how many times a year. But now there would be more of a set time. You have to meet before the Conseil d'Établissement so you know what campus-specific issues are going on. And you can also then have more continuity, because if anything that's brought up at that one meeting, well, the next year you might not be elected, or you might not be a delegate to be in the next meeting to follow up on anything that happened in the one meeting. So it would hopefully help the flow of information, and any issues that are coming up have some resolution that parents are helping with.
Yeah, and it would be a working meeting rather than what it is now, which is a presentation to the parents, the 3 parents who show up, if we're lucky. And the other thing that's different now is that there is no Conseil de Code at Ortega. The Ortega issues are resolved at the Conseil d'Établissement, which is a huge problem for Ashbury representatives and Sausalito representatives, because honestly, we come here, we spend time here, and 95% of the meeting is about Ortega. I don't know how much we bring to that conversation. And the Ashbury and Sausalito issues are underrepresented and under.
Let me just segue so we can move to the next steps. This is basically demonstrating that the parent association wants to be clean from the delegate side, and that it should be, and that what has been identified as an opportunity to work with the head of school to share the parent feedback on the delegate side, and to be able to work with the head of school to say, how might these things improve within the parameters of the AEFE agreement, and where can we make changes and what opportunities are there. So it's to ensure that you have the association over here, but that the parents understand the different roles they can have in the school, and multiple roles, but also that the parents then can get information across direction and up and down. So it creates more fluid communication across both ways, all directions.
So just one question still about the room parents. like, do you see that in the future there will be a need for a monthly room parent meetings, or?
I mean, I think that would be up to the head of campus, honestly, personally, but we have not discussed it as a committee.
Okay, so I'm just wondering like what's your feel on that one?
But certainly,
as a room parent, as a sitting room parent, I could see that if there was other channel, maybe the need of a monthly room parent meetings might not be that necessary. I don't say that shouldn't be like bi-monthly or something, but it might be if there is other ways to decimate.
and I think that depends, I think that on Ashbury campus, that would, my feeling personally is that would be accurate. You know, if there was another forum, then that forum would be better suited, and the room parents would be supportive of the teachers. That's just a, teacher to parent conversation, and it doesn't need to be a larger conversation. I believe that there are other issues at Ortega that I'm not really qualified to speak to because my kids are still younger, where it might be beneficial to have that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Next steps.
Just wondering if, what the plan is for getting staff and faculty input on this.
That's great, that's a perfect segue.
Look at that.
Thank you very much. So the next steps, we have some meetings planned coming up relatively soon. We're going to be presenting at the room parent meeting on Friday to the Ashbury parents, and we've opened it up to everyone to attend. Sausalito, we're going right after their launch at 3:45 on Friday, and we're going to also present this to get the Sausalito parents insights. And then on Ortega, after the Conseil d'Établissement, we're also having a meeting for the parents. But of course, we're also planning some staff to come to some staff meetings. So on Sausalito on April 4th at 3:45, we have 15 minutes to talk to the staff. And then on Ashbury, the same. So we're going to get out there. We want to share with them. We want to hear what they have to say. At our Conseil d'école, I definitely heard some from parents about wanting a bank of volunteers when they don't have enough volunteers for field trips or to go to the swimming pool. That's something that already I've gotten feedback about what teachers really need to have. So that will be something that I definitely think about. But and then Ortega, we're still working on trying to figure that out on when is a good time to meet. So we'll be still trying to figure that out. But this is what we've gotten so far for the meetings. We've also started to think about some right before the end of the year some campus specific sponsored initiatives. All three campuses are working on teacher appreciation lunches and working on Ortega and Sausalito movie nights. As well as at Ashbury, that's at Ortega and Sausalito, and then at Ashbury, talking about a Playworks parent game night.
Yeah, we're not allowed to, you were right, we're not allowed to use the word
Oh,
Playworks
sorry.
anymore. So it's going to be
You
a
did it
game
anyway,
night.
don't worry about it.
Game night.
Parent game night, to showcase many of the games that the children are playing on the playground during the day. And lastly, our timeline is to really get some bylaws after all of these meetings and taking all the feedback, some bylaws down. And this is really, we want to say this is version 1.0. This is something that is going to be a body that changes as we figure out how it works and how it really actually comes to fruition. We hope to seat the leadership roles in June. And then we would like to officially launch in coordination with our 50th anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. So now, let all of your extended family and friends know, all the classmates, all the parents know, meetings over the next 2 weeks, emails have been going out, meetings with teachers. We are doing things nonstop, presenting all of this to get feedback, get interest, to drive and move things forward as quickly as possible.
I want to
Yeah, William.
I have a question. So what legal entity will they have?
We will create through the bylaws, we will create a 501c3. Ultimately, we will work. What?
I think we're not there yet.
Maybe. Okay.
We're going to meet with, hopefully at some point, we'd like to meet with him and input on and to talk a little bit more about how the financing could go, and that might dictate the legal entity, but originally, I think.
It has to be an independent entity. It will be an independent entity.
I'm not sure. I think that Emmanuel
So
said
from the
advice.
NIES report, 70% of the parents' association are included in schools, and 30% are independent entities. So the best practice, all the statistics show that usually they are in the school organization to manage, to have a better management of the funds, and also to benefit from the audits we have on our books, that they can audit in the same times. So yeah, everything is possible right now. Just the stats say 70% managed in the school.
And the other questions I have is regarding this. Are you look also at the FAPE, the Federation of Parents Associations?
We originally, si Krista, elle avait regardé.
Oui, she did
Because the FAPE has a very big influence, you know, in RFE, in the diplomatic arena, and I think, you know, it's worth to take a look at FAPE.
I think Krista is in charge, Stramouillon here, is in charge of all the research, and because she's not here today, I would prefer that she talk about it, that she reach out like 30 schools and see how they works, with which organization, what was the relation inside the school, so she would be better to talk about it next time she can be here.
I think FAPE, you know, is something to take a look at.
Okay? Thank you.
I want to just thank you all for coming and making that presentation to us. I just think for all the words that you've been doing. and all the
Incredible
work that
level.
you've been doing. And thank you, Eileen, for liaisoning with the board. Appreciate that very much.
I think the bifurcation of responsibilities is a really innovative idea for the room parents and a good diagnosis of the problem.
We're going to go back to
All right, so now we're going to get back to Brandon, who's going to give us a preliminary annual Gala fundraising results.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and stand so we can get everyone in here. So,
But you want to say the camera?
The camera is right here.
okay, just didn't want to like ignore you folks. Okay, so these are some preliminary numbers I just got late this afternoon. I did want to share with you how we did at the Gala. So, in terms of revenue, silent auction generated $22,092. The online auction was $11,200. It's like we're still waiting for some updated information for the post auction. Live auction, $65,005. Fund for the future, $226,750. There was a matching donation on that we're waiting to hear back from as well. So those numbers may change slightly, but raffle was $2,950. There's class projects that are broken into two different categories. Class project CM 3915, class project SF 3780. I'm not sure what the difference is. Dessert auction, $8,889. So that's some high-priced desserts there. Great job. Flower arrangements, $1,585. It's crazy, but it's good. Good, crazy in a good way. So in terms of what I just rattled off, there at $346,166. We had $35,150 in sponsorship. $6,800 was taken in for advertising, not what we paid for advertising, but when people just paid to advertise with us, and $32,500 in ticket sales. So total revenue for the evening, $420,616. We're still waiting to subtract out what our expenses are for the evening, but I'm being told this is one of the biggest gala in terms of fundraising that we've had. So great job to everyone who was there.
I was told that we're 25 to 27% over last year.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll get some updated numbers to show how we've done compared to years past. But
Special thank you to the gala organizers.
Yes.
When
Absolutely.
they were
Yes.
here
Absolutely. They did a
tonight.
great job.
All right, this concludes our open session. We're going to take
Q&A, maybe I can ask.
Yes, could you, good point. Take any questions.
Any Q&A back here too.
And
People present, anybody have
our
questions back
live
here?
audience?
I just have a suggestion for the member forum. I think It wasn't, I think just clarifying for the membership what your expectations are from the membership who attends. Because coming to the meeting, having prospective parents there was something different. And I didn't realize that that's what the member forum was about. Is it about us as members coming to ask questions about what's going on and hearing what's happening on the board level? Or is it something different? And I think that's something to think about when you do the next one. What is the intention of the meeting, and what is it you want the parent role to be at those meetings? If you would rather more questions become here to board meetings, to open sessions here, then I think it should be explained to parents that way.
I think that's a very good
That's a
point,
great idea.
and we didn't, we wanted to have potential parents there, because we thought it would be a good marketing tool.
Right.
But you're right, it might, we should have let existing parents know, because it makes the forum somewhat different. You're absolutely right.
I'll make sure in the invite, but I think it was very inclusive of what is happening in the lycée. It was not board oriented. In the invite, it was to discuss the events. For each time will be in one campus. So we want to have a Zoom in each campus, the events. There is also an aspect about pedagogy or school programs, and I think the Innovation Lab is, and that might be also one of the reasons we've got so much funding. It's fantastic. So it's really school-wide, and the board is part of it. But that is not necessarily to go into the board meeting is for discussing board questions. So the objective is also to give the opportunity to the community to come and to gather together to discuss. We know what happened for the last 2 years, so that was the objective, to have this place where people can come and see the beauty of the lycée.
I don't think that's her point. I think her point is that to do that in combination with having potential parents there, without letting the existing parents know that, may have been a disconnect. And they don't know necessarily that perhaps questions that might otherwise be asked here probably shouldn't be asked there, simply because you have potential parents there and it's awkward.
Is there a concern of chilling of potential kind of dialogue or questions that parents would want to ask during these?
Well, I received people, I asked a question about how well teacher negotiations, how are they going? And I got feedback from a board member that a parent there was, oh, I didn't realize there was problems with the parents, or that their contract was up for negotiation. And I was like, well, crap, I was trying not to, but I did have the question. I was curious and wanted to know. I thought that this was the forum to do that.
Right.
And we did call it a member forum.
Yeah, it might be the forum to do that, it might not be the forum.
Well, that's what Kathy's saying.
And that's
Let's
what I'm
be
just saying,
clear
just clarify.
about what
If
it
it
is,
is
the
that I need to come
purpose.
here to ask
It's
those
reasonable.
questions, then I'll come here to ask those questions. If it is that I go there to hear about what's going on in the school and ask about programs and more pedagogical issues, things or whatnot, if it's a different kind of forum, then it just needs to be clear.
Yeah. Right. Is there any opinion on what it should be, is I guess what I'm asking.
Okay.
I think that what this highlights is that there's a lack of a channel for parents. And what will end up happening in these kinds of instances where parents feel like they've been rebuffed, where they haven't gotten their word out, they've been to the wrong event, they misunderstood the event, they're gonna start going to all the different places that they can go to be heard. And next thing you know, they're everywhere, and it's, one parent can be taking up so much time of the administration and the board, and so that's where,
And that's why you
You're
have
not doing-
this
you're not doing that.
monthly,
Let's be clear.
but that's where you have
And they're
that
on kids'
monthly
night
meeting where the
I just-
information can go across and up and
I
down,
just
and
think we
that's
need-
the opportunity.
I just think we need to provide better clarity. The purpose of this member forum was really to tell parents, share what's happening at the lycée, and
We were filling a void
we're
that
filling a
wasn't
void,
happening.
and we didn't quite fill it precisely as we should.
We needed more clarity, and
We
I
need
think
more
that come next fall, it might go away, it might morph into something different, and we're hoping that this will be able to fill some of those pieces, as well as give that dialogue a chance to happen. And the reason for having the key liaisons as far as having a teacher there, an administrator there, a board liaison there, is so that all of that, as well as the conseil d'établissement, but to have all of those pieces there to hear it, to then know how to channel it to the right place for resolution. So it becomes that opportunity, but also that opportunity where either you could showcase items, or you may say, okay, on a quarterly basis, there is a board opportunity to showcase the school and do some of the things that we're currently doing, and it just doesn't have to be on a monthly basis.
And I think
So
what
that's
it
what
gives the
works.
opportunity from teachers every month in these meetings to give a report, to
Right.
say, hey, this is what's going on, these are the programs that are really taking off, you know, and then it's built in every month so that
Right.
the membership is informed, so that we can know what amazing things are happening at the school.
Like twice a year, or maybe 3 times a year,
You can do a
you
big
can
one.
have a forum at the beginning of one of these that's followed up by a small Q&A. I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless to mesh these things and create a dialogue that's more regular.
Yeah, the objective is also, I think, we can see this also as a marketing tool.
Yes.
So we have to.
Yeah, we
Yes,
might have
when you
to,
have-
we might have to,
absolutely, when you
we
have
might have to
marketing
find
person in
means to
place,
separate the
we
two.
want
That's,
this.
Right.
yeah,
The
that's
goal
all.
is working closely with those administrative positions as they get there.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Um,
Sorry,
No questions from the live stream.
No questions on the live stream? Okay. All right, so let's adjourn and take a 15-minute break. And let's regroup
With,
for the next session.